Hello, my name is Ursula Whetstone Knox, and I will be presenting the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996. It is a public law 104 through 193. It was signed on August 22nd, 1996. 110 Stat 2105 of the 104th Congress. The sponsors were John Kasich. He was a representative for Ohio's 12th Congressional District, and he was a Republican. Also, Porter Goss, and he agreed to simple resolutions on July 18, 1996, and he was the one that helped come to a resolution on the fiscal section of the bill. On June 27, 1996, the policy was introduced to the committees. On the same day, a report was ordered for recommendation. July 18, 1996, the bill changed in the fiscal section. On the same day, the bill passed in the House and was sent to Senate. July 31st, the bill is revised by Senate and sent back to the House for approval. On that same day, the House agrees to the revisions and sends it back to Senate. August 22nd, 1996, both of the chambers agreed and passed the bills to the President for the signing, and that was the exact day of the signing. The act was signed by President Bill Clinton in 1996. The main purpose of it is to assist families with dependent children temporarily. Along with aid, families are prompted to attain employment. This is organized through job training or higher education. The forecast was the end result of families becoming independent mental assistance. This was a former aid to families with dependent children, known as the AFDC. It was replaced in 1996 and was spearheaded by the Republican Party because they believed it was an ineffective policy. In 1996, the bill was introduced to the House with Senate to agree on the fiscal policy. It currently operates as Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, known as TANF. During the 90s, there were a lot of recipients, and the Republican Party, along with the Democrats, believed it to be an overwhelming problem that was sure to continue. Across the U.S., multiple claims that were false for benefits were filed daily. Criminal actions were taken against those claims. The program was set up with high hopes that possibly those receiving assistance would become independent of assistance and the economy would grow. So within the legislation, states were given advantage to create their own program for this block grant, providing they use criteria that was objective for the program's purpose. Community service is required for all adults 2 months after receiving assistance. It's mandatory that they start working 2 years after receiving assistance, and this is for other adults. Parents with children 12 months or younger were exempt from the work requirements. Medical assistance was only provided to those whom qualify, and it was based on the resources that were available. In this nation, there were 13.42 million AFDC recipients in 1995. And thus that produced the wanting to even revise this bill. By 2015, it had dropped drastically to 4.12 million TANF recipients. By 2019, there was 1.1 million TANF recipients. And at the bottom of the screen, there's a caption that speaks on phone for EBT benefits, food stamps for beer. So during those early years, 1995, with the amount of people that were receiving benefits, it was suggested that they were abusing the benefits. At the top of the screen, you will see it's a protest, and there's a banner held that says "Drop the Welfare Reform Bill." Dozens of social workers demanded that this bill not be revised because they assured the government that there would be millions of children that would be forced into poverty due to the revision of this bill. Of course, they were ignored. So here's a diagram that will show you Harris County recipients, and this is for the month of October in 2020. So the basic TANF, the recipients were 4,809 recipients. And the state program, there was 375 recipients. And that is, like I said, for the month of October alone. So the total recipients equaled to 5,184, and that is in Harris County alone. The manifest goals were to strengthen personal responsibility and strengthen marriage. They wanted the public to understand that it was their personal responsibility to care for themselves. And they also wanted to prevent mass out of wedlock pregnancies. And they felt that if they cut funding for additional children added to the family, that it could in some way strengthen a bond within the family. And I don't believe that they really thought that out. They did not consider problems that were deeply manifested within those situations. This is my personal opinion. Also, the Latin goals were they assumed criminality among the poor, and they stigmatized and surveyed the regulations of the poor. So they assumed that all criminals were poor. And they assumed that all poor were criminals. Yes, there were many false claims and they were tried and convicted, but not all people that applied for this assistance were criminals. Also, initially in the beginning, when a recipient would apply, they had to agree to an unexpected, unknown visit from the welfare office. And the employees of the welfare office were actually deputized to press criminal charges against anyone that they felt that was participating in fraudulent or criminal behavior. If they found anything within their homes that was of any type of criminal nature, they would also dismiss their case and file charges upon them. To be eligible for TANF, you must be a U.S. citizen or a legal alien or qualified alien, unemployed or underemployed, and have low or very low income, have a child 18 years or of age or younger, be pregnant, be 18 years of age or younger, and be the head of the household. The assistance is delivered to the recipients. They receive it on their own rights, on their own behalf. The families receive benefits on behalf of their children. And funds are distributed by Lone Star Card in Texas and other states by their state regulated cards. The financing for this program, which was very essential to this program and one of the very reasons it was revised, because they wanted to save money. So it's financed by a federal block grant, so it's essentially a grant that you don't have to pay back unless you are found guilty of fraud. It's also financed by the state MOE contributions, and also it's funded by any money in the U.S. Treasurer not otherwise appropriated. And recipients are only allowed to be on this assistance for 5 years. Thank you. Once again, my name is Ursula Whetstone Knox, and this was my presentation of the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996.